Hello, welcome back to my channel, and right now we're gonna start talking about a couple of cards that was released a few days ago. Sorry for my lateness. And on the screen, as you see before you, even though you can't read Japanese, you probably know what this actually looks like. There is going to be a ban list, which is going to be pretty interesting with, today's pandemic. There hasn't been any Spring Fest or any type of things to let us know what needs to be hit, what doesn't need to be hit, or what needs to be off. So maybe they probably found something in the future that might possibly be a little bit out of hand. Maybe something in premium, standard. I honestly don't know, but I'm assuming they have a reason for just bringing this up out of nowhere. I mean, hey, it also could be something about, oh, nothing's going to change for the list, so only time will tell. So this is pretty much going to be on May 5th, and that's pretty much, next week. And when that happens, I'll just report like I did the last time. Moving on to card reveals. She's back. Her name is Starcall Trumpeter, who originally came out in BT05 Awakening of the Twin Blades. And she was an 8K back then, a Counter Blast 2. Search a blaster from your deck and Superior Call. Simple. She's now a 10K, thank you God. And she has a skill that reads, Auto on Vanguard and Rearguard. When placed, cause Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, return a card with Blaster in its card name, and when a light and dark intersects each from your drop zone to your hand. Okay, there you might even notice there's a name change, because I think this is more of the direct translation. That when light and darkness intersects is pretty much the new order card. You may have previously known as when light and crossing engrave or something like that. Yeah, this is more direct. But anywho, what I think about the first skill is, well, one, it's a -1 from your hand, and you get a plus. You pretty much get a +1. You're getting one thing from the drop, and you get to reuse your order card. So things that you can do with this is ride onto Blaster Dark, discard any blaster that you wish to discard, then call Star Call, then use Star Call skill, then get the card that you just dropped and your order card. Simple as that. A lot of people pretty much say, why does this have a Vanguard skill? Because one, the reason why I can answer that is just in case you want to use this in the Messianic Lord Blaster, I don't really think it's ideal in that build. But what you can do in that build is, if you ran out of specific copy that happens to be in your drop zone, you can get that card back to complete the puzzle. That's okay. I don't think it's going to be used like that in the build, in my humblest and personal opinion, but it's an option. That's totally fine. But mainly, if you're going to use this in Majesty Lord Blaster, you're going to use her mainly on your grade 3 turn. Finally, her last skill, Continuous. If you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, this unit gets boost. I'm actually okay with that. I'm pretty okay with this whole thing. I mean, as a whole. I mean, this thing is pretty much a mini version of, Monarch Sanctuary Alfred, and with this skill, you get a 10k booster. A lot of people say that this is going to run out Gordon, but I'm not too sure about that, because Gordon still gives you the 5k power bonus, and if you have more than one Gordon, that 5k actually stacks, so I'm not too sure. But on the bright side, with with decks focusing around Blaster Blade, you have another card that can get Blaster Blade from your drop zone. So that's actually good. Clever. Now, another card that was released was Her name is Entrancing Flower Princess Sandrine. And we already know how to stride, so her axe skill is G-Zone. This card is face down in your G-Zone, and your and your opponent's vanguards are greatly or greater. Cost, counter, blast 1, and retire 2 plant token units. Stride this card from your G-Zone onto your V. And this unit gets power plus 10k plus 1 critical until the end of the turn. Okay, so in terms of this and Katrina, I still think Katrina is actually better, in my opinion. This is kind of underwhelming, in my opinion. But I will say that this pretty much, like the other strides, pretty much focuses on using some of the standard support. And I'm talking about Asha. You can use Asha to set up your Flower Fairy token. And then after that, use, Sandrine's skill to actually stride. And that way you have an Asha Flower Fairy token all set up ready to go. And then pretty much, power it up from there. It's alright. It's not too powerful, but it's okay, in my opinion. And a little bit more about the premium collection. This little Royal Paladin here, Royal Paladin's finally got a Draco Kid. Saint Flare Draco Kid. His skill reads, for the cost of stride, this pretty much becomes a grade 3. So I find this interesting because pretty much, I'm going to get to that in a second. You now have options when it comes to deck building in your trigger slots. You have this. You have the one that came in Premium Collection 2019. The critical that goes in your soul, gives your Vanguard power, and nets you a card. And you also have the Sentinel critical triggers. Between that, and I think it just gives you more deck building options, which I kind of do like. I'm not sure if every single one of these decks will actually, use these. Probably not. I don't know. But I will also say that this also gives you extra, grade 1 space if you don't want to use the grade 1 Stride Fodders. That's an option right there, right? And not just that, all clans in Premium will be getting a version of this card. One thing I do want to mention, and I do not have the picture with me right now, sorry, but there are a couple of extra slots in this Premium collection thingy, and it's kind of where the Crate Elemental was. It's like a grade 1 7k Crate Elemental that doesn't really do anything. I'm pretty much assuming all those slots are going to go to the other Crate Elementals. Maybe some of the ones that we see in Vanguard Zero might actually be in the real life game. Who knows? But overall, I like the idea of these little Stride Fodder grade Zeros coming to the game. What do you guys think? Comment, like, share with your friends, and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I upload, and I'll see you guys later. And one more thing, in a few hours, Majesty Lord Blaster will be released, and as soon as I can, I will actually give you my input on Majesty Lord Blaster, knowing what it does, and pretty much about the Blaster deck as a whole. See you guys later.